Hey, how are you today? Greetings to you. Wanted to come on today and talk about mentorship. Women, well, I'm not going to call it mentorship because my message is coming from scripture, coming from Titus chapter 2, that talks about Christian living, living by example, older women teaching the younger women to have self control, to love their husbands, love their children, to be reverent in their behavior. So, but you can still look at it as mentorship. So I want to kind of touch on the subject of mentorship, older women mentoring younger women. The Bible talks about the older men mentoring, being an example for the younger men as well. But in my case, I want to talk about the women. That comes from scripture in Titus chapter 2, how we are instructed as older women. And I'm just saying I wouldn't consider myself old or young. I guess I'm kind of rocking in the middle. I'm hitting 40 years old. So, but I believe that I have a duty and a charge to teach those that's coming under me. So it doesn't matter how old you are or what age group that you associate yourself with. If there are younger women that's coming up underneath you, whether it be your daughters, whether it be young girls that in your community, young girls in your church, young girls in your family, any type of relationship that you may have with a young girl or young lady that's coming up under you. We are instructed as older women to teach the young girls. Teach in Titus 2 instructs us to teach the older women to teach the younger women how to love your children, how to love your husbands and submit to your husbands. Now, I know when we talk about submission, and I just was reminded of, I saw a video last week, might have been last week or a couple of weeks ago, but I just discovered it about a week ago. Fantasia did an interview on the Breakfast Club, and she was talking about submission to your husband. And she spoke about how a lot of women are single because they do not know how to submit to their husband, and that just took the internet. It went viral, and there were a lot of women that were mad with her, and then there were some women that agreed with her, and me myself, I agreed with her, and I shared it. It just kind of got conversation going around it, but the Bible tells us, wives, be submit to your husbands, but in the same way your husband need to be submitting to Christ. And I believe where the breakdown comes, women don't want to submit to their husbands because the husbands are not submitting to Christ. But the Bible does instruct us as wives. I'm a wife, I'm married, so the Bible does instruct older women to teach younger women to submit to your husbands. Respect your husbands and submit to your husband. Love your husband. So, but that's what I want to kind of talk about today, mentorship, because we all need mentors. We all need someone, whether you're young or old, in between, no matter what age you are, even if you're experienced, you have a lot of life experiences, you've been through a lot, you still need someone, that can mentor you. Even though you may be a mentor to those and you may be teaching those that's coming up underneath you, you still need to have someone that you can consider a mentor, that you can talk with and share with, and that's going to be able to mentor you and teach you, because we all need mentors, no matter how young or how old we are. But in Titus, it instructs older women to teach the younger women. And this is very important because we can't expect our young women, our young girls, our young ladies that's coming up, we can't expect them to just know it, to just get it without ever being taught. Mentorship is extremely important to me. I try to mentor young girls every chance I get. The reason I started the Glowing in Grace Accountability Group is simply to mentor ladies, to help ladies achieve their goals, do what it is that you said, you want to do, whatever they look like. But you need a mentor to help you do that. You need someone to, first of all, encourage you. You need someone to challenge you. A lot of people just are not being challenged. And all that entails mentorship. I believe, encouraging, challenging, helping along the way. And just I believe a lot of girls are just not getting that, because the older women in a lot of cases just haven't been taught, so they don't know what it means to mentor someone that's coming behind them, because they have never really been taught. And I'm gonna just be honest, me myself as a young girl coming up, those of you may know my story, know that I became pregnant at 15. I had my son when I was 16. And if I had the type of mentorship that a lot of girls have today, and a lot of the mentoring that I extend to young girls and young ladies, if I had that, I mean, it may have turned out different for me. I don't know. But I didn't have the type of mentorship that I believe that's necessary to teach young women, to teach young girls how to live, how to live a life that is holy and acceptable and pleasing to God. Because that's what we're instructed to do in Titus, to live a holy life, to have self-control, to love our children, to love our husbands. And if you're not married, you don't have children, just to have reverent behavior, to have self-control for yourself, and not only for yourself but for others as well. So it's so important that older women teach those that's coming up under us how to live right, because there's I don't want to say it's not a lot of examples out there, because there are. And a lot of young women today with the internet, they're getting mentorship, they're following people on the internet, following people on Instagram, following people on social media. But if that's what's going to help them, and if they looking up to these people as a positive role model in their life, then that's good. But I think we need more people that's going to be intentional about mentorship, intentional about teaching those that's coming up under us. And it's not just, for the young people. I mean, even the older ladies, they need mentors as well. So it just may be, certain areas that as an older lady, you're not strong in, you're not confident in sharing with the younger women. And that's okay. You may need to, get some more knowledge, some more mentoring, some more information from someone else before you're able and before you're comfortable sharing and mentoring with those that's coming up under you. And that's okay. But it's important, and we are instructed to teach those that's coming up under us, because how will they ever know? How will they ever learn the right way to do it? And I hear people say all the time, they talk about this generation, they say they're crazy, they say they just a different type of people, but they're really not. They're no different from the generation before us, and the generation before that, and the generation before that. It's just that this generation, I believe, is exposed to so much more than previous generations were exposed to. And then with the advancement in technology, they're just exposed to a lot of things. But I don't think they're any different than the generations before them, because the generations before them, I believe, is just as crazy. Amen. But it's very important that we as older women, and no matter how old you are, to be able to mentor those young girls, those young women that's coming up under us, because they really need it. They really need someone, because mom is not there all the time. The teachers, the school teachers they're there, but they're not there. And not all school teachers are passionate and caring about the work that they do, and not all teachers are reaching these young girls on the level that they need to be. They need to be reaching them. And so it can be frustrating, because teachers have to deal with so much, and a lot of times just don't have time to have that one-on-one with the young girl to teach her, to be a mentor to her. So that's why it's important. My charge is to you, the lady that's watching this video. No matter how old you are, no matter how young, there is somebody that's coming up under you that needs to be mentored, that needs to be shown the right way. Not just, don't just tell them what to do, but show them. You have to lead by example. You can't just tell people, what they should be doing. I hear those people say, don't do as I do as I say. No, you have to lead by example. You have to do what it is that you should be doing, because there are people watching you. There are people connected to you, whether it's people you go to school with, people you go to church with, people you go to work with, people in your family, your children, your cousins, your nieces, whoever it may be. There are people that are watching you. You can't just tell people to do as you say, not as you do. No, you need to lead by example. If you want them to live a certain way, you need to be living a certain way. If you don't want them to be in a club, you don't need to be in a club. If you don't want them to be drinking, you don't need to be drinking. If you don't want them to be smoking, you don't need to be smoking. If you don't want them to be out there being promiscuous and, just doing whatever they want to do with their body, if you don't want them to do it, you don't need to be doing it. You need to lead by example. And there are just too many people, women as well, that just are not leading by example. And we have a whole generation that's coming up under us, that's watching us, that's seeing what we're doing, and we are not the positive role models that we should be. And especially on social media, the children, when they see us as adults do things, they are going to imitate that. That's where they get it from. So a lot of times when I'm looking at these children, when I'm looking at these young girls, some of the things that they do, some of the things that they say, I can trace it right back to somebody that's closely connected to them. And that's the reason that they're carrying out, a certain way. First of all, they don't have any mentors. They don't have anyone that's talking to them. They don't have anyone that's showing them the way. So that's why it's important. And it don't have to be someone, that's in your family, someone that I mean, if it's a young girl that can use some mentorship, take her under your wing. Take her under your wing, because it's so important that our young girls are taught to live right. To live holy, to live set apart, and they're never too young to start learning. So I just want to, charge you and challenge you to mentor. Us as older women, we are instructed to do it, to mentor the young women, to mentor the young girls. Because it's so important and they need it. And we can't wait for other people to do it. We can't say, that this doesn't, concern me, that I have nothing to do with it. No, it has everything to do with all of us. And until we start looking at the situation different, as in a way that, this is all our business. This concerns all of us, all our children, concerns all of us. We can't just look at it like that doesn't concern me. That's not my child. That's not my daughter. That's not my niece. That's not my church member. And you can't just say that doesn't concern me. If you see a young girl that needs some guidance, that needs to be shown to do something a better way, you have that responsibility to teach that person, to teach that young girl, to teach that young lady. We talk about the ladies, if we see them dress a certain way, what you deem to be inappropriate. But you can't even take the time to, go and talk to this young lady and tell her, baby. And then a lot of times that's all they have to wear. And that's okay. But you never even took the time to try to, find out why she's dressing this way. Whether it may be that maybe all she has to wear, or she may be dressing that way because she's seeking attention. You don't know. But you never even tried to find out. So just, judging someone based on how they dress, or judging someone based on how they talk. Okay, she has a filthy mouth. Every word comes out of her mouth is, a cuss word. She just, her speech is not becoming of a lady. But you never even took the time to, talk to her and, try to tell her, she shouldn't be speaking like this as a young lady. She shouldn't be dressing like this as a young lady. So we have the responsibility as women, as older women, to reach out to our young girls, because they really need us. They really need their mentorship. They really need that guidance. They really need a positive role model that's going to show them the way, and, and not just judge them. Because a lot of judging that's going on today. And we don't need to do that, because, a lot of us that's judging, we were once there ourselves. So we don't have any room to talk about anybody. We don't have any room to judge anybody. We need to be trying to make life better for others. those that's coming up under us, So, each one teach one. If you can just grab one and just teach her the right way, teach her, what it is she need to be doing. And then, that transfers. You teach her, then she can teach the next person, and she can teach the next person. But if no one's out here mentoring, no one's out here being an example, everybody's just living any kind of way and not even mindful that people are watching us, not even mindful that people are listening to us, then that's not good. So we need to be mindful first of what we're doing, because we have to be whole and healthy before we can help other people. And if you're not there yet, if you don't believe that you are in a position right now to mentor someone else because you are not right, you are not whole and healthy, that's fine. Work on yourself. But there comes a time when you need to, get yourself together and do what you need to do so that you can be in a position to mentor those that's coming up under you, because the Bible instructs us to do it in Titus. As a matter of fact, I want to go ahead and read it. Since I have my Bible open right here, I'm going to read Titus chapter 2. Not going to read the whole passage. I'm going to do chapter 2 verses 1 through 1 through 5. Okay, so Titus chapter 2, 1 through 5. But you are to proclaim things consistent with sound teaching. Older men are to be self-controlled, worthy of respect, sensible and sound in faith, love, and endurance. In the same way, older women are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderous, not slaves to excessive drinking. They are to teach what is good, so that they may encourage the young women to love their husbands and to love their children, to be self-controlled, pure, workers at home, kind, and in submission to their husbands, so that God's word will not be slandered. So yeah, we are instructed right here in this Bible to be an example, to teach us older women or to teach the younger women how to love your children, how to love your husbands, how to be submissive to your husbands, how to have self-control. We are instructed to do that. So we have to, be mindful of how we are behaving in front of our younger women, our younger girls, because they are watching us and they need someone to look up to. And we have to, take on that lead, take on that role to be the example that they need, so they can be able to walk different, so they can be able to talk different, so they can know the right way to go, so they can have self-control. They can control the things they say. They can control the things they do. They can control the way they dress, and we don't have any room to judge anybody or talk about anybody, because we all need mentors. We all need to be taught. Everything that I know, all the knowledge that I've gained, I've learned it from somebody else. I've been taught by somebody else, and I'm fortunate, for the knowledge that I do have. I don't know everything. I'm constantly learning every day. I'm constantly seeking to learn every day. And you should be, seeking to learn every day as well. And as you learn, you teach. One of my favorite quotes is by Maya Angelou. When you get, you give. And when you get, let me get it right. When you get, you give. And when you learn, you teach. I think that's how I go. Something like that. But basically what I'm saying is, when you get information, when you learn, you should be transferring that information to somebody else, because the information and knowledge that you have, you didn't get it on your own. It was transferred from somebody else. So when you learn, when you, get, you give to others. When you learn, you teach others. And, I hear some people, well, I'm not a teacher. I mean, you don't have to be in a classroom standing up at the whiteboard or, teaching from a computer or a book. Just transferring information. I mean, just like I'm doing a video right now, I'm transferring information. Just like you have a conversation with somebody, you transfer information, but you don't use that as an excuse not to help the next person, not to teach the next person, not to be an example or a role model for that young girl, that young lady that's coming up under you. So, we just need to be mindful of, what we say, mindful of what we do, because there are people watching us. There are people that you may not even think that's watching you, people that you may not even think that's listening to you, but they are. They're watching you and they're listening. And young women, they are thirsting for, someone that's going to be genuine, someone that's going to be a real example, someone that's going to show them and teach them the way. They're looking for that. Young girls want that. They're seeking that out. But a lot of times it's hard to find because, and especially us as Christians, we blending in with the world, and a lot of people don't know the Christians from the worldly people because we're just doing everything the world does. And we can't do that. We were called to be set apart, and we have to, live a holy life, set apart from how the world lives. I mean, that don't mean we judge them. That don't mean we talk about them. We still love them because the Bible commands us to love our sister, to love our brother. But at the same time, we have been called, we have been set apart. So we can't just live any kind of way. We just can't, because we have been called to, we're children of God, and we have been called to live different. So we have to lead by example. So, yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap it up, but I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about mentorship because it is so important, and so many girls, young women need mentors. And it's not only for the young women, because I know some older women that could use some mentorship in their life. It's some things that you would think they should know at their age, but wisdom does not always come with age. It does not. The Bible says, wisdom, it don't, a lot of people say, because they figure because you old, that you should know certain things. But no, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So first of all, if you don't fear the Lord, you don't have wisdom. If you do not fear the Lord, you do not have wisdom. The Bible tells us that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So if you don't know the Lord, then you're not a wise person. So don't go around telling people that you're wise when you don't even fear the Lord. You don't respect God. You don't reverence God. So, just because you up in age, that does not mean you're wise. That does not mean that you are, capable of mentoring and leading young women, because that's not always the case. But I'm speaking to those that are, you are in a position to mentor. You are in a position, that you are whole and healthy. That you have what it takes. That you will be a great mentor. That you will be a great role model for some young girl, some lady that's coming up under you. That, but you just haven't done it yet. So my challenge to you, my charge to you today is to, take that young girl by the hand, take that young lady by the hand and teach her everything because young women are looking for someone that's going to teach them, that's going to show them. So do that. That's what I have, dedicated my life to, teaching young women, young girls, those that's coming up under me. And that's what I do because, God has blessed me tremendously. God has, placed people in my life that have poured into me and given me words of wisdom, words of knowledge. And I'm just so grateful and I'm so thankful. But like I said, you have to be a seeker. You have to seek out the information because not everybody going to seek the information. But there are young girls that need it and, they're looking for it, but not all of them will seek it out. Everybody is not, a seeker of information. So sometimes you may have to go to them. And I find myself doing that a lot. I have to go to people. I have to meet people where they are because everybody's not going to come to you. But if there's a young girl, a young lady that can benefit from what you know, because mentorship is just transferring what you know, transferring the experiences and the information that you already know, sharing it with someone else, transferring the information to someone else. I'm, like I said, I don't consider myself to be an old lady and I don't consider myself to be a young lady, but I've been through some experiences through life, and I have, some experience that I can share with others that may not have been through what I've been through. So, mentorship gives you that authority, give you the authority to be able to share those experiences because you've been through it. A lot of times we don't want to, seek out information from someone that hasn't been through what we've been through. But if we know somebody has been through the same thing that we are going through, we need to be able to reach out to that person and get a word of encouragement, and and find out, how did you get through this? How did you deal with this? And a lot of times people are just not willing to share their experiences. You know, that's why God takes us through the stuff he takes us through. Because there's going to be somebody that's coming behind you that's going to go through this. And God needs somebody that has already went through this to help the person that's going through this. God has already brought you out. God has already healed you, from that bad divorce. God has already healed you from that. You are whole. You are good. You are ready for your new husband. And so now it's time to minister to that young lady that's just going through the divorce, that just got separated from her husband. God needs you to share with her what you went through and how you got through it and how you became whole and healthy after the bitter divorce. God needs you to share that. Everything that we go through in life is to help somebody else along the way that's coming, that's going to go through what we went through. You're a recovering drug user. You was using drugs, and you didn't know how you were going to come out. You didn't know how God was going to deliver you, but he did. So guess what? Now it's time for you to share with that person that's going through the drug use, the drug abuse. I mean, she don't know how she's going to come out. She don't know where to turn. But you know what she's going through, and you've already been through it. So God is going to use you to minister to her, to help her come through her storm. Because you was in that same storm, but you came through. Because God is going to take us through. You can't go around it. You can't go under. You can't go over. You have to go through it. And once you go through it, God is going to use you to help the next person to go through it. So just know everything that we go through in life, it's not for us most of the time. A lot of times it's for somebody else. That person that's going to go through the same thing that you went through, God is going to use you to help that person come out. So, yeah, I've went longer than I intended to tonight. I'm in New Orleans tonight. I'm here for the Louisiana Integrated Prevention and Services meeting. Is a 4-day conference at the Le Méridien Hotel in New Orleans. So we'll be here for the next 3 days. And so I just wanted to come on tonight and do a quick video because, mentorship is something that is very important to me. And, everybody needs a mentor. Men, women, children, everybody needs someone to mentor them. And so this is, a subject that's near and dear to me. So I just wanted to come on and do a quick video about mentorship. So for the lady that's watching this video, there's a young lady that needs you to pour into them, that needs you to minister to them. Do that because you are called and you are instructed to, teach those that's younger than you. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now. And until next time, y'all take care and y'all be blessed. Bye-bye.